What up? Happy Labor Day. It is Monday, September 5th, and I'm getting ready to go live with my guy Tim Macy in San Antonio, Texas, to talk a little bit about why Tim decided to move his team over to Real Brokers. Tim is one of the OGs at Real, so this is a really exciting conversation that I'm going to get to have with him, and then I'm going to get to share that with all you guys. So Tim, and by the way, happy Labor Day. I hope everybody's enjoying some time with their family and getting a day of rest. Although I know in real estate that doesn't always necessarily happen. What up? It's Tim Macy in
What's
the
happening?
house. What up, Tim?
I figure I'll light up my thing. Is that backwards though?
It's backwards, but the way that logo kind of works, it's like almost like a palindrome, right? Where it works forward and backwards. It's almost like someone did that on purpose. For anybody who's watching and doesn't know who Tim Macy are, talk to us a little bit about who you are.
I don't know. I don't think I'm that special. I'm down here in San Antonio. I was one of the first people to make the jump over, and so I think that's what people think of me as when they think of that. I kind of moved before a lot of other people did, but we've run a team here in San Antonio. We actually just stopped running a team here in San Antonio, but had a team in San Antonio here for 6 years. And, I've done a lot of social media stuff, video stuff. So I think that's what people know me for.
So, okay. So you mentioned it a little bit in there. I want to unpack that because you were one of the OGs who moved from EXP over to Real. And so, right, I want to dive into that just a tad. We just had Jeremy Knight on last week who did the same move over from EXP to Real. And both of you guys were so early in EXP and then you made the jump early to Real. Why did you do that?
So I was lucky enough to join EXP very early, around 1,000 agents or so, and I had a great run at EXP. And while I was there, the thing that I realized was that this cloud-based, giving agents stock in the company, giving agents this opportunity for rev share, and being a consolidated cloud-based company made a ton more sense than a lot of the other things that I saw in the industry. So Jason, you know me well enough to know I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like what brokerages are doing, or why my friend runs his team at William Ravis or whatever brokerage it is. Like, I'm always infatuated with why people choose to be at Remax, or like what the different structures are. And what I found was everybody I talked to, it was really interesting. Like, people run some amazing businesses at different companies, but I could never even think about moving my business to another company because I was getting stock and I was getting rev share, which is a way better deal than anyone else had. Even if some company wrote them a check for $100,000 and it took them 2 years to pay the $100,000 back or whatever it was, right? Like, none of those deals were ever better than what I had. And we were doing 10, 15, our best year I think we did 20 million. So it's not like we were very happy with how much we sold, but I'm not some giant mega team, yet I still had a better deal than everybody else. And so being at EXP taught me that model is the best model. Like, it's definitely the model of the future, and not even the future. It's pretty much the model of now. But it just wasn't necessarily a good fit for me. So if you look at franchise models, maybe you're a Remax person, maybe you're a Caldwell Banker person, maybe you're a Keller Williams person, right? There's so many different flavors for you to pick from as a, looking for a brick and mortar franchise brokerage. And, I was at EXP because I knew it was the best thing. But when I looked at Real, I just saw something that I aligned with a lot more values-wise. I aligned with a lot more, future vision-wise and leadership-wise and so many other things that I said, hey, like, if I align with something a lot more than where I'm at, what's keeping me where I'm at? And the answer was money. I was already making rev share. I already had a lot of stock. And so money would have kept me there. But I don't think that's ever a great reason to stay somewhere. Right?
Yeah. Sure.
Obviously there's a price on everything. But for me, I just kind of looked at myself and I was like, man, if I'm really like about my values and really about who I am, I need to make this jump and be somewhere that I'm more aligned with.
It's really interesting because you're like the third person to say that. And now that I've been doing these interviews, that they were already at some sort of a cloud-based brokerage, either EXP or some version of a cap, rev share, or
Yep.
profit share. Keller Williams, right? And but it was something about the culture. So they had already kind of given up on that traditional model of like a Remax or Compass or one of those, and they were already into like the low split, low cap cloud-based model. But it just was something culture-wise that didn't fit, and they recognized it right away at Real, and so they made the jump. Even like in Jeremy's case, leaving money on the table to do so,
A
and
ton,
probably in
yeah.
your case too, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so like you even left money on the table because you knew that there was something about the culture that was going to align better at Real.
And it's hard to explain, I think, to people. I remember when I first heard about Uber, right? And I was like, wait a second, you mean to tell me there's an app that will have some stranger pick me up in their car and bring me somewhere? Like, that sounds crazy. I'm never doing it, right? But then you actually did it. You hit the button on the app and it picked you up and you could rate them and it was so much easier. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm never calling a cab again.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the thing is when you come here and, you know, Brooks is on, Tammy just commented, you know, Katie's here, the broke agent's on here. Like, people talk about how, you know, they're not sure if they'll get the community in a cloud-based brokerage. They're
Right.
worried about not having an office and everything. And I can tell you right now, when we go to these events, you know, some of the people that are closest to me and some of my best friends are not here, right? They're not local.
Yeah.
And I see them when I go to events. You know how it is. We're all like a big
Yeah.
family. We all get together. And I would argue that we have more community in our cloud-based thing with agents all over the place than a lot of agents have locally. And I don't know what it is. I can't necessarily put my finger on it, but I can just tell you, I have a crew of people across the country that all want me to succeed, right? And you have a crew of people all across the country that all want you to succeed. And it's different, right? Like I said, it sounds weird, like getting that first Uber, but then once you get here and you experience it, you're like, well, how could I ever go back?
Yeah, it's
How
so
could
funny
I ever
because
go back to a local office?
I was at a local office. That was one of the, not the sticking points, but that was one of the things I was trying to factor in when I was deciding to split over to Real is like, well, I have this office. They do provide me with an office. And then as I was kind of thinking about it more and more, I'm like, I haven't seen anybody in this office in like 3 weeks. Like, and it was probably 3 weeks before that, before I saw somebody. And then maybe once every other sales meeting, you would see 4 people. But for the most part, like since I've joined Real, I'm on a mastermind call every day or every other day. You have an optional, you know, Katie has a call on Monday. You have a call on Tuesday. Trey has one on Wednesday. There's one on Thursday. There's one, and you could theoretically see people 4 or 5x than you did in a local office. Just, you know what I mean? And then you see them in person when you want to see them in person at these mastermind events and at the Tom Ferries and at the Inmans and stuff like that.
And the other thing is too is we have over 6,000 agents at Real now.
Yep.
And, you know, I've got all these people that I feel like are kind of my tribe. And when it is a national company and you have all these different meetings to pick from, you have all these people to pick from, right?
Yeah.
Like you start to build these relationships with people that are more like you, and they end up being like a little deeper, a little closer. I don't know if it has anything to do, Eric said Katie's on a 24-hour Zoom.
Yes.
Look, I don't totally ruin my thought. I don't know if this is the case, but I do feel like there's something about being connected with people that aren't in your local market. I don't know if people in their local market don't share as much because it is their local market.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, literally, like anybody in our company will send you their checklist for anything that you ask them for. You know, it's like so open. And I don't know if that's because it's cloud-based, but it also goes back to the ownership part.
Yeah.
The fact is, we all own stock. Like we want to see our people sell more houses. We want to see everybody win. And it's not just the abundance mindset. We actually have incentivized it. You know, and that I think is the big thing too, that is a little bit of a game changer on why the community gets to be so sticky and why the growth happens so fast.
Talk to me. You mentioned that you're out of production, right? So you actually had a team of 2 or 3, and then you guys have now transitioned fully out of selling real estate. How did you supplement that? Was that just all through RevShare, or is there like, or like this because the stock did well and you cashed out at the right time? Like share that.
So for me, particularly for Pon and I, RevShare has
your wife,
my wife, my wife Pon. And RevShare has totally outpaced commission.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think about rev share not like mailbox money. I know like people like to call it mailbox money,
Yeah.
but it's just a different way to build a business. And so what we realized was the time we were putting into transactions was no longer the most effective use of our time.
Yep.
And we need to take our time and pour it into helping our people and you know, helping them and build more builders and everything else, because you know the model's great on growth, but one thing we do is we focus a lot more on production than recruiting.
Yeah.
Right, we focus a lot more on production than recruiting, and now that we have been blessed enough to have all these agents, right, our focus needs to be on making sure they're doing well and they're selling, and
Yeah.
you know, if the market's changing, that they're adapting, and so that's where we focus most of our time. And honestly, like, we're very lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is that I've known about the cloud-based model with RevShare for years, just with other brokerages, even in my own market. And I think I knew, you know, some of the top producers, and I knew that they could make some real money doing it. But I never thought it was a thing that, you know, I would like be able to remove myself from business. But then it's like you hear about top producers across the country who are now doing, you know, 5 figures a month just to supplement what they do. And then they have some people that are making 6 figures a month just in doing what they do. And they've now completely moved out of production and they just do that. You know what I mean? And those are real numbers. But, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, Jason, I think about it though, like if I was going to go open a brokerage,
yeah,
right? I mean, opening a brokerage. Oh, Tyler Whitman in the building. Opening a brokerage, you know, bringing on agents, it's like it's not that much different. You know, you would open a brokerage with the hopes of eventually getting out of production.
No, totally. I always thought the rev share was like a secondary thing though. And so now you're starting to hear some people and actually people actually build out their entire business models on it because it's real money.
Yeah, I would say this percentage of people that are going to be able to completely step out of their business based on rev share is smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think for most of our agents, like you said, adding a 5-figure amount to their income every year is fantastic. Adding a 5-figure amount to their income every month is unbelievable.
Correct.
Building a business that allows you to step out of production, like we have, I mean, truly is like, I mean, I hate to say it, most cliche word I can figure out is magical, you know? But
it's a game changer, man. That's big.
It's a game changer, but I think the big thing I like to keep people focused on, and like Brooke said, it's doable. Trust me, like if I can do it, other people can do it. But I think the thing is, I think the reason why we're different is we're focusing on production. You know what I mean? Like we're focusing on building this thing out that you can eventually retire with, but doing it focused on production, not just bringing on as many people as we can.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's one of the subtle differences that I prefer with Real over some other cloud-based brokerages is that they kind of top load the rev share into your first and second tiers because they really want you pouring into those people who are you're most in contact with, those tier 1 and tier 2s versus the tier 6s and tier 7s that you probably have never even met, which is incentivizing you to grow the company, whereas Real is incentivizing you to grow you and your business, you know what I mean, as opposed to growing the company. I think that that's just a subtle change, but I really like that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we've talked about it before. If you grow a culture of taking care of the people you bring on, right, and just saying, hey, look, we take care of the people that we bring on. If you can keep that culture throughout a company, that company's going to have the best culture there is because everybody's going to take care of the people that they brought on. And I mean, you know, I can see I'm at, you know, 1650 on the agent count right now. And so what's interesting to get to this point is you can start to see things at scale, because that's always a thing like, oh, this is cool now, but what's it look like at scale? So now I'm pretty much at scale. And what I can tell you from being at scale is that when you build a connected community of people that are helping each other and stay abundance minded, as far as, you know, we're not going to fight over who's bringing who on. We're not going to like hide our stuff. We're going to give it to everybody. It builds such a stronger organization, such a stronger business than I've seen in other places.
Yeah, I agree. I want to talk a little bit about your video blueprint, what you guys put on. So talk to me a little bit about that. Where did that idea come from, and what do you share on those?
You know, I think the idea for Video Blueprint, one, that's the event that Katie Day and I do every year. We had 220 people at it, which was how much we could fit. So we sold out at 220 people last year. One of the things with Video Blueprint is, you know, we've all been to a lot of events. We've all seen a lot of training where people are like, do video, maybe they show some examples. But what we've found is we're pretty good at picking out who is doing video in a way that's making money. Oh, yeah, Mr. Social Savvy.
Shout out.
Jesse Peters was spoke at Blueprint last year and was awesome. But what we like to do is we try to find people that are producing from it. You know, because there's a lot of people with 1 million subscribers that aren't selling a house.
Yeah.
Shout out to the broke agent, right? He doesn't need to anymore. But you know, we're trying to figure out like what solutions are actually working around video, and then figuring out how to implement those, and get much more tactical. And hopefully, people leave with stuff that they can really implement in their business that actually brings them a good return. You know, because I don't know about you, man, but every week I see a new video course, or you know what the big thing was, Jason? I saw people going really hard at video and not getting any return on it. Like they were putting in the work. You know, they went to the conference, they heard do video, they did a bunch of it, and they got nothing because they did it wrong. They just missed the approach. They had the wrong approach. They had the wrong topic. They had the wrong thing. And it was frustrating to watch people take the action but not get the result because they were just missing a little bit. And so that's what we try to do with Video Blueprint.
It's awesome. We're stealing your idea, Tad, here in San Diego. I'm running next in 2 weeks. We're doing the studio video master market master. What is it called? It's a summit. It's a video summit. In fact, Eric, shout out to the broke agent. He's actually going to be down here. Man. He's going to be down here speaking along with Teo DeCarlo and some other local folks here for about 150 agents. It's completely sold out. It was free for them, so we had a couple of sponsors come in. And we're going to be putting on a 3-hour class as well here, a small version of the Video Blueprint. But I heard yours is in April, right? And I'm already excited. Katie told me to put it on my calendar, so I'm going to try to be out there next year and check that out because I've heard such good things about it.
Well, I can tell you, man, Jeremy just did an event with me, and I don't know. I feel like people like me less when we're coming up to an event because I feel a lot of pressure on myself to put something on that's of value if people are going to take the time out of their lives to come see it. And so I can tell you, coming off of last year, like my standard for how good this event has gone up a ton. And so I'd love to see it because I can tell you we're going to be putting everything into making sure this event is top notch for everybody.
Dude, I agree wholeheartedly. Sometimes you go to the Inman conference or you go to these other places and they're like, do video and be consistent and it's all high level, you know what I mean? But it's like, I really want the meat and potatoes. Tell me exactly how to film. Tell me how many seconds to do it. Tell me which caption to put on. You know what I mean? Give us some tactical takeaways so that we can put that to use right away.
The other thing is like Brad McCallum, right? Who I love. And he inspires me when I do like a listing video, right? I'll be like, man, I got to try to step it up, get to Brad's level. Yeah. But one thing is too, is a lot of these things, you'll have, I'm going to make an awful thing. Like you'll have some like beautiful girl who has like 4 million on Instagram, right? And it's like some stuff just isn't attainable for everybody in the audience. And so what we do is we try to take things that more people can do. Yeah. So it's like Brad makes these unbelievable listing videos, which everybody should strive to do. But I want to take things that like everybody can do. Like but that takes work to really dig into what people are doing and figure out. Like Tammy, whose comments on here, runs an awesome business, like solo agent, but crushing it. Or maybe Tammy SEAL team, right? Like assistant, but really, small team, high volume. And so like when I take somebody like Tammy, I have to really dig in to figure out like what is she doing that we can take from her business and hopefully give to some other people in a meaningful way that they understand and can take some action on.
For sure, man. That's all I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but it is Labor Day. I want to let you enjoy.
That's right.
And I really appreciate you taking time, jumping on here with me and sharing some of your story with my followers.
All right, Jason, I appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah. Good talking to you. All right. Bye.
Later.